Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. Website is schifferbooks.com. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you're interested. It's at the bottom of that list of information. Supportive oracle cards are Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Jesse Reish, and there's a website at the bottom, hayhouse.com. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you're interested. What do we have for Scorpio? That's a fun name. Okay, so it's a little messy. I'm going to go ahead and say it's a little messy. It's wherever it started from. There was a time where this situation was good. There was. Blocks, there was no blocks. There were no blocks. People, I got the 17 half in, half out. Maybe people were more agreeable than they should have been. I don't know about that. I feel like there was a time where this situation was going a lot better. There was more like, you know, I do for you, you do for me type thing. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain this. It's almost like, you know, if this was a partnership, you were kind of like, well, we both want different things, but where can we compromise? Compromise was more the norm. They compromised a little for you. You compromised a little for them. You were fine with that at the time. When this started, it was fine. And there was a lot of work on both sides. But maybe both sides didn't get completely what they wanted, but they were at peace with that because things worked out. This reminds me of, like, you know, somebody wanting to have 3 kids when they get married. The other person kind of like, well, I don't want to give birth to any kids. And then kind of settling, like, let's adopt one and see how that goes. That type of compromise. Does that make sense? Because to me, that's like a big compromise. Like, you know, you got 2 people, and, you know, one wants kids, the other one's like, not really. At least I don't want to give birth to them, which makes complete sense to me. So, like, the compromise is, how about we adopt one and just see how that goes? Because, you know, once you have a child, you're committed to that experience. So let's do one and see how that goes. We'll just adopt. Like that type of compromise. Like neither person got exactly what they wanted, but it was kind of like, no, this is acceptable. This works. Both sides were willing to go that far. This is an analogy, of course. But it was things like that. Things that were important like that. I feel like that's why we're using that analogy. Not that that analogy will fit you perfectly, but it's like the seriousness of the subjects that were being compromised on. And I feel like whoever you were working with, I feel like they grew a lot. They enjoyed a lot with this situation. But whatever's happened in the past and wherever this was, that time has passed. And whatever it was, there didn't used to be blocks, but now there seems to be blocks. Blocks have arisen. Things are not communicating as well as they used to. People are not trying to work with each other as much as they used to. Whatever bonded you with this person in the past, it doesn't seem like that is it's not as important or it's not as strong as it was before. Something has changed. And I feel like you already know this. You already know that the energy has kind of moved on. You don't really want it to, but you're already feeling like the change is afoot. You can feel it in the air. You know something is going to go differently at some point. You're not really happy about it, but the bond is breaking. Okay, well, maybe. 4 of Wands reversed is, to me, that's the breaking of a bond. Release of a bond, release of a contract, something like that. And then the good cheer and the, what's this one? Confidence reversed. All this came in reversed. It like fell out while I was shuffling. I didn't even realize it was upside down until I just looked at it. It's not something you want. You're not happy about this. You didn't want this to go this way. But it also seems like no matter what you do, it's just slowly slipping down the hill anyway. It's just kind of like, it's like a muddy hill. It just, no matter how much you fight, no matter how much you try to hold it back, it just slowly but surely keeps slipping further and further down the hill. Scorpio is pretty dynamic, yes, but you are human like the rest of us. Sorry. You know that. I know you know that. How do we... Because there's better energy coming, and I get that. There's a lot of healing coming in. How do we make peace with this, I guess? This is not going to go well. There's some animosities here. That being said, there's only so much you can put up with, granted. But whatever the situation is, as it's changing and the dynamics are shifting, I would recommend creating 3 lists. What's most important to you to keep after this is over? What's sort of important to you? Be nice, but I don't have to have it. And what's not important to you at all? Whatever is the most important, just fight for that only. You have the best chance of getting what you want out of the situation if you just fight for what's most important to you. Things that you would like but are not that important, let those go. And if you don't want them, truly let those go. It seems to be the easiest way to move on from this situation. So it's almost like if this is a divorce, for example, I hate going there, and you want the house, fight for the house, maybe not so much the belongings, because you can refurnish it and make what you want out of it. Maybe the house is what's important, but maybe not the vehicles. Let the vehicles go, as long as you get to keep the house. As long as you let the other things go, whatever's most important to you, you should be able to keep. I can't guarantee that, it's a general read, of course. But I feel like the more I just hold back on the other things, I don't even fight for what I would like but don't really need. I'm just going to fight for what I need, what I really need from the situation. If I just center all my energy on that, this does seem to go forward, follow through fairly quickly. It's not the easiest or like the most smooth driven road. Even my speech is not working out right. So I'm thinking it's hard to let it go. It's hard to let some of this happen. But if you keep resetting yourself and concentrate and holding to that, this doesn't have to drag on for that long. If you just organize what you truly want and go with that. Because I get like the other side doesn't seem to be playing very nice. But if they feel like they're getting more than their share, you're likely to get what you want the most. They might end up with technically more than their share, but as long as you get what's most important to you, I feel like it'll be easier for you to let go in the long run. There's a lot of people involved too. I'm going to be careful before I say this, so let me just put the dice on it just to be sure. People have their opinions. I would distance myself from people for a little while on this one, at least on the subject. You probably have good friends around you that you can let them know, hey, I don't really want to talk about that subject, and they'll respect that and they'll stay away from the subject because you asked them to. Hang around those ones. The ones that can't seem to do that, whether they're friends or family or whatever they are, put some distance between them and you, at least until this is passed. Doesn't mean you have to cut anybody out of your life, but just like maybe a buffer or a timeout until the situation has moved forward to a point where you're more comfortable with it. That's a simple part to that. This, ironically, as long as you hold to what's most important to you, for example, if we're going to use the divorce situation, I can understand why this wouldn't be the easiest thing to do, but if you just, like, I want the house, so I'll let the furnishings go, I'll let the cars go, maybe there's a plot of land somewhere that's a vacationing plot, let that go too, as long as you get the house. If you just center on what's the most important to you, you do get the Sun card, because I feel like everything works out in your favor if you just keep it simple to what really means the most to you, not what you would like to have, what you need to have. Keep it to that. This situation moves on a lot quicker than expected, and I feel like For example, if you just end up with the house only, you'll get another car, you'll be fine. All the furnishings are gone and everything that was in the house, but you get to start rebuilding it and making it your house versus what it was. It's like with all that energy gone and all those possessions gone, you get to refill it with what you actually would like, just what you would like, not the compromises. You don't have to deal with the compromises, the leftover compromises. You're going to be refilling it maybe slowly but surely, but with what you actually want. And it will feel exactly like your home and not like a shared home anymore. You follow me? So keep that in mind as well. I like that for you, actually. Because I feel like if we're going to use the home analogy, and it's a divorce, we're just going to say if it was, just an analogy. It feels like it's painful to let all the possessions go. But once you start rebuilding the house, it's like once there's most things are gone, it's kind of like, well, I might as well wash the walls. Well, while I'm washing them, I didn't really like the color they were anyway. And now that I've changed the color, there's a couple of renovations that I could afford right now. Let's see if we can do those. You know what else is here? There's this. I would like this type of dresser, or I'd like that type of couch. The one we had, I didn't really care for anyway. It was just okay. So now I'm going to put what I want in here, the style I want, the color I want. Everything's going to change and look different. By the time you're done rebuilding this whole situation, it may technically be the same house, but it won't look like it in any sense. It won't even feel like it anymore, which is going to free you from the past. Are we good? All right, I think we're there. I'm going to shut that down there. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.